A year after NATO won the war, US troops are once again on combat alert.
Pretty high alert once we're out here on the border. This is about as front line as it gets right here.
Lieutenant Chris Sullivan is one of 40,000 foreign troops in the NATO-led peacekeeping force called KFOR. His unit patrols the boundary between Kosovo and Serbia proper. And in the 5-kilometre no-man's land between KFOR and Serb forces, paramilitary fighting is beginning again.
If you look out on this ridge line, so you can see that it's dug up. There's a trench line that the UCPMB has dug, and there's a bunker at the far end of it to the south.
Albanian guerrillas, calling themselves the UCBMP, are using this demilitarized zone to mount new attacks on Serb troops. About 140 fighters, out of reach of KFOR, have occupied the boundary village of Dobrosin. Their aim is to liberate other Albanian villages in Serb-held territory, and they're already drawing blood.
There was a series of firefights mixed with automatic weapons fire and explosions, and this would happen 3 or 4 times a day. And from that, it could be determined that they were doing a search and attack operation. And then the UCPMB actually claimed it a victory, claiming that they had killed 5 MUP policemen.
NATO occupies a land on the edge of war. Just as Serbs once drove out Albanians, Albanians are now trying to empty the land of Serbs. Inside KFOR territory, where there are no Serb soldiers, the targets are civilians. Today, the village of Babanost is farewelling the latest casualty. 33-year-old Militon Trajkovic was gunned down outside his house by unknown assailants. Like most victims, he appears to have been picked at random. His only crime was being Serb. Militon's father, Marko, nearly suffered the same fate.
Ja I sin, tu smo sedeli, naišao automobilom koji je imao kola, automat unutra. Kad je došao tu, rafalom je udario, sin je sedeo ovdje, ovaj metar ga je ubio, tu ga ubije ovdje i daš metar. I on je tu u kapotu. Ja sam sedeo ovdje i ovdje me tu, ovaj metar mene tu.
What happened in Babanost is happening to every Serb enclave in Kosovo. Over the past 2 months, 22 Serbs have been murdered and dozens more seriously injured. The attacks have ranged from drive-by shootings to tossed hand grenades. The victims include a grandmother and a 4-year-old child. There is no talk here of a peaceful, multi-ethnic Kosovo. The only question for these Serbs is whether they can live here at all.
U slučaju da se ne promeni za najkraće mjesec, 2 opstanka, neće biti da li samo za Srbe ili za ostale nacije. Ovako ne.
A year ago, NATO troops entered Kosovo to end ethnic violence. It was a time of extraordinary jubilation. Ethnic Albanians welcomed them as liberators from Serb terror. For 78 days, as NATO had bombed Yugoslavia, Serb forces had expelled Albanians from their homes. Hundreds of thousands were forced across the border. Thousands were executed and buried in mass graves. NATO has now ended the attacks on Albanians, but seems powerless to stop revenge attacks on Serbs. Albanians like Abdullah Hassani see no reason to forgive them for the terror their families suffered.
Ja te svunja me kon kushi me to, ja I mir me to, ja shak me to me kon. E që të svunja me ta, kur qysh me kon? Asa ta me ne, bas na me ta.
A year ago, we joined Abdullah's family as they came home to the capital, Pristina. Serb paramilitaries had expelled them from their house on the first night of the bombing. The entire extended family crammed into this tractor to return, ecstatic that KFOR had made Kosovo safe. But their joy was short-lived. As they arrived in drenching rain, they found Serbs had burnt their house the night the peace deal was signed. It was a sight even the youngest will never forget.
Hello. Hello. Hi. Hi, everyone. Hello. Yeah, nice to see you.
This month we came back to see how the family had fared. 8 agencies have helped them rebuild their home. But what pleases them most is that their Serb neighbours have gone.
Por minder tumer, numer posa me përvesh, mo thoi pi, që të e gjona. A për tut nuk ka tut kur gjo.
Që tu në rrëthin familjar s'ki tut, se dash ki tut, prap nuk je I knasht me ta.
More than 200,000 Serbs have fled Kosovo in fear of Albanian reprisals. Fighters from the KLA, the Kosovo Liberation Army, burnt their homes so they could never return. The remaining Serb minority has hunkered down in ethnically cleansed enclaves, the largest in the northern city of Mitrovica. Once a mixed community, it has been split in two by ethnic hate. The French Foreign Legion is supposed to ensure safe passage. But in reality, there is almost no contact between Serbs on the northern side and Albanians on the south. The UN's Mitrovica spokesman, Michael Keats, concedes there has been no reconciliation.
It's always very hard. It's, you know, you say, well, Rome wasn't built in a day, and Mitrovica certainly wasn't built in a year. So we've got nearly 1,000 years of ethnic conflict to overcome, so it's a bit difficult to say it will happen in a year, 2 years, 3 years.
Or even longer.
Or even longer, indeed.
Personally, is it a bit depressing working here, seeing how incremental the progress is?
Yes, it's the unfortunately, it's always the one step forward, the 2 steps back, and that's been the situation for the last 6 months. I just hope the next 6 months will be better.
For now, any Albanian brave enough to cross risks being met by the so-called bridge watchers. Serb vigilantes like Stravko, armed with a black belt in karate and a baseball bat.
Pratimo razvoj događaja, ali sve kontinuirano, fino, bez problema. Koga treba da puštimo, puštimo. Koga ne treba, kad dođe nekakvi separatista, albanski terorista, zna se, mi njega puštimo, ali uz pratnju KFOR-a ga ispratimo na jugu.
And you have a baseball bat?
Ovo je 21. vijek. Ljudi ratuju, cijeli svijet ratuju na dugmat, a mi se bijemo sa albanskim separatistima I šovinistima, bezbom palicom I kršima. Ali dobro je.
Mi imamo palicama I oružje.
Mi imamo palice, oni imaju bombe, mitraljezke gnezda, automatske puške isto.
Life for Serbs on the Albanian side is even more dangerous. Only 15 Serbs have dared to stay here. All of them live in a barbed wire compound around the Orthodox Church. Polish KFOR troops guard their enclave 24 hours a day. Father Svetoslav Nojic takes Sunday Mass before a handful of Serbs and one Russian peacekeeper. He now plans to leave the south side. The other Serbs are likely to follow.
U ovom delu logoru, mi smo u logoru zatočeni. Bodljikave žice sa svih strane su. Vojska tu, vojska tu. Ne možemo mi da odemo, u severni deo Mitrovice osim sa vozilom I da se vratimo. Imamo provokacije. Nikako ne živimo ovdje.
And Serbs accuse KFOR of allowing the attacks to continue. On the northern side of Mitrovica, Serbs blockade their streets against KFOR vehicles. Oliver Ivanovic is the local representative of the Serb National Council, a body now demanding that the whole of Kosovo be partitioned into Serb and Albanian sectors.
We exactly need that, to organize ourselves, to protect ourselves, because KFOR are not able, or probably KFOR don't like to protect the Serbs.
The local KFOR commander insists they are doing all they can, but admits they cannot give the Serbs the protection they demand.
The opposition between both sides here is really tough. We cannot stop all the attacks. And in the south side, where the Serbs are in minority, I understand that the Albanians want to get the complete possession of the territory. We can't stop attacks against the Serbs. It's pretty difficult.
Adding to KFOR's problems is that neither side will apologise for the violence both have suffered. Even this man of God believes Serbs did nothing wrong.
Do ovog stanja kakvi smo, NATO je doveo stanje. Jedno. Drugo, Albanci su sve imali, sve su imali. Tražili su isključivo Kosovo republika i sve što se ovo dešava i što će se dešavati vezano je za Kosovo republiku, ne za Kosovo autonomiju.
What is your view of what the Yugoslav state did to the Albanians, driving them out of the country?
Morali da se presele. Vezano je opet za isto pitanje, prvo pitanje, prethodno pitanje. Da nisu tražili oni republiku, ne bi sve do ovoga došlo. Nikakvi drugi kompromis nisu htjeli oni da traže i da rešavaju samo sve zbog najveća je greška kod Albanaca, što traže odcepljenje od Jugoslavije.
But Father Nojic at least admits the Albanians were forced out. There is no such admission from the regime accused of ordering the ethnic cleansing. The Serbian capital, Belgrade, is just 5 hours' drive from Mitrovica. But officials here speak of a very different Kosovo, a place where kindly Serbs protected their Albanian brothers.
Ethnic Albanians were not driven by the Serbian or Yugoslav police, but they were driven by and with the bombs of NATO. The Kosovo was heavily bombarded. Civilian infrastructure was most heavily bombarded, much more than the rest of the country, so the people fled.
So NATO bombs destroyed the homes, smashed the furniture, painted Serbian graffiti on the walls, defecated on the floor. That was NATO smart bombs.
No, those were not NATO smart bombs. Anyway, when NATO overtook the province, all the pictures I saw with those things you are now mentioning have been pictured or used as a proof only after Serbian and Yugoslav troops left the province.
These were some of the pictures we recorded during the first days of NATO entering Kosovo. Serb homes and shops were almost untouched, but Albanian districts bore unmistakable signs of violent ethnic cleansing. Serbia insists these and other pictures were part of a Western media conspiracy that included hiring actors to pose as refugees.
For instance, you have a column of 1,000 people going to Macedonia, and a reporter of one of Western media agencies is going straight forward to one man who, to my surprise, speaks perfect English, and he's perfectly dressed. Even I think I saw some makeup on his face.
The same sense of denial appears every night on state television.
Gledate Dnevnik Radio Televizije Srbije. Komandant ratnog vazduhoplovstva I protivvazdušne odbrane general pukovnik.
In this broadcast about a new war memorial, a general assures the public that Serbia won the war.
Moralnu pobedu danas nam priznaje ceo miroljubivi svet. Priznaje nam takođe I činjenicu da smo oživeli Ujedinjene nacije i ponovo ih vratili na međunarodnu scenu, kao i da smo našom borbom razbili projektovani obrazac NATO za vojno kažnjavanje neposlušnih u 21. veku. Neprijatelja smo pobedili, kako kaže naš predsjednik i vrhovni komandant Slobodan Milošević. Ne zato što smo jači, već zato što smo bili bolji.
It may not be believed, but it's the only version Serbs are seeing. This is all that's left of Belgrade's independent broadcast media, a website filled from secret locations around the city.
From the Serbian regime.
Over the past 2 months, the government has taken over or shut down every critical television and radio station. Independent journalists like Sasha Mirkovic continue to struggle on, but he admits there is little public spirit to defend them.
You will try to, to win at the end, and to show that it's possible that changes will happen in this country. But on the other side, as I said, the problem is that you are having less and less people who are ready for this kind of approach, and I cannot blame people from because of that. They are tired, they are disappointed. Ordinary people are looking for the possibilities to leave the country.
In Belgrade, the last visible opposition is a student group. Called Otpor, meaning resistance, it does what it can to keep the flame of resistance burning. But the formal opposition parties are weak, divided and discredited.
I think that we are having one of the worst opposition in the world, and, everybody, like Milosevic, will stay in power, when you have such a bad opposition.
Nor has Serbia given up its claim to Kosovo. The UN resolution that ended the war insists an autonomous Kosovo must one day return to the Yugoslav nation.
We do think that KFOR and United Nations mission altogether should leave the province, because the rate of killings, the rate of looting, and the rate of anarchy, if we look at it from a perspective of 1 year that's already passed, is that high that they should leave. They didn't do anything to establish law and order, and that famous multi-ethnicity that does not exist.
But this worksite south of Mitrovica shows why Albanians will never accept Serb rule. With the coming of summer, the UN War Crimes Tribunal has resumed excavating Kosovo's killing fields. Former Sydney homicide detective Steve Leach is helping find where the bodies are buried.
There was approximately 2,000 bodies exhumed up to November last year, which were civilians. The majority have been identified by family members, and they have given explanations as to how their relatives were killed. There was a lot of old people. I mean, we've got ranges between, say, 6 months and 90 years of age and over. So they definitely couldn't be KLA fighters. Witnesses that have come forward have described graphically how relatives, friends, whatever, had just been shot either by snipers or they've been dragged out of homes, dragged out of columns, taken away to a location by Serb paramilitaries, have heard gunshots.
Today, new victims of hate are being buried in fresh graves.
Čovjek što ima najsretnije u životu, danas ga gubi. Da Bog da kod nikoga ne došao na ovakav način, osim na radost. Slava nek mu je Bog dušu da mogu
These Serbs may not be responsible for the crimes of war, but they are paying for what their state did and would do again. Kosovo has become a land that refuses to forgive or forget. NATO may end up staying here for decades. The desire for revenge will stay for generations.